Naomi Kingery here, the Diabetic Diva. You've probably already asked yourself, well, who's this girl with the hair bow, and why does she keep calling herself the Diabetic Diva? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to share my story with you today and a little piece of my heart. 20 years ago, I was born in India, where my parents have been working with disabled people for about 25 years now. And I grew up there for half of my life, always around physical struggle with people in wheelchairs and people who couldn't walk. When I was 12 years old, me and my siblings went away to a Christian boarding school 6 hours away from where my parents were, and we started on this whole new big adventure. Well, the first 2 weeks of that adventure, I lost 25 pounds, and I got really sick. I was throwing up. I never felt like myself. I couldn't eat. Sometimes I would eat all the time, and I was showing all these really strange symptoms. And the hardest part was the school nurses didn't know what was wrong with me, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. So it was a really hard 2 weeks there where I wasn't sure what was going on. It felt like the flu a little bit, but it felt a little more serious than the flu. One night, which was September 2nd, 2001, I went into a coma. And when I woke up, I was diagnosed as a juvenile diabetic. And since that day, I've never looked back. In the beginning, I struggled a lot. And I had to look at this new life that I had that involved needles and blood sugar numbers and schedules and food and exercise and all of these things thrown onto my plate at the young age of 12. And I had to look at this and say, am I okay with this? And I wasn't okay with this back then. I said, I hate this new life. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to move forward. But I was in the hospital for 12 days, and I got to lay there and really cry and just say, what am I going to do? How is this going to work? How am I going to be what they call a normal teenager? And one day, I finally said, I'm okay with this, and I'm going to try to find ways to move on. I'm going to try to find ways to make diabetes make my life even better than it was before. And so in that hospital bed, me and my family sat around thinking of nicknames, and we finally came up with the Diabetic Diva. And since that day, I finally found a way to kind of take this new nickname and just say, you know what, diabetic is who I am now. And I'm not only going to just have to deal with it, but I'm going to have to move forward and make my life even more amazing than it was. So here I am today as the Diabetic Diva, hoping to change the lives of others who struggle in the same way that I do.